Before the episode starts, there's a spoiler warning. We did talk about Survivor Season 41, so you have not seen it. Just skip that part. But other than that, it's a good episode, so please enjoy this and have a good day. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another The Hub interview. Today I'm with a very special guest. Today I am with Chase the Iron Dwarf, or Chase. Hello, welcome to the podcast because, this is an hour long usually. So, yes, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. So, I always say this to to the people that come here. The very first question, this is always it. So the first question is, how'd you get introduced into the Survivor community?
The MC Survivor community or just
Yes,
Survivor in general?
MC Survivor community. Sorry.
Okay, because there's two different answers there. So the MC Survivor community, I remember there was like a few years back I was searching because I've always been a big fan of Survivor, going back about a decade now. And I was just searching up MC Survivor online randomly. I didn't really see much a few years ago. This is back in like 2016, before even EliteChris had his first season out. And it was just some random stuff that probably doesn't even exist anymore. And then I kind of forgot about it, got out of Minecraft for a bit when it was on its down years. And then when I came back to it at the early right when COVID was starting up, started playing a lot more since I was doing my final semester of college at home and all that. And searched it up again out of the blue and found I think it was Caribbean that I first found.
Oh dear
Joined
God.
the Discord. Yeah, I mean it was rough. It is what it is. I mean, it's not a bad season. Great characters more than anything else.
You know what? Good characters. There you go.
And I decided to try it out. I also had a friend of mine who, at the time, Nye200. He's from the Survivor UHC community, actually, and we played. I'd actually played on a server with him dating back to like 2014, and he introduced me to the UHC community. I played one thing there, realized I hate Mumble. I can't get it to function very well. I played one MC Survivor with that community. It went horribly because, one, Mumble was having issues, and two, I had an internet problem that really just needed a $4 cable to needed replaced. I wish I'd known that because I was an early boot because of technical issues. But for whatever reason, there was someone else having technical issues there as well, and happened to be Echo on his alt account. And out of the blue, I get a DM from him a few days later asking if I would play in his Bora Bora. And so literally the day after he asked me, we were recording Bora Bora.
Oh, okay. So I mean that's an interesting story. So Bora Bora was your first recorded season you've done?
It was. Ironically enough, my first recordeds were kind of like back to back, and it was like a bit of a really jump start. Whoa, you're in the thick of the community, because like I said, one of the first things I found when I searched this stuff up was Caribbean. So naturally, I applied to his season 8 before I found out that it was actually going to be a full season 8. And I was a backup initially for the Nile, and we were smack dab in the middle of the recording day for Bora Bora when I got a DM from Chris asking if I wanted to be moved up to the main cast.
So it's just like mid-season, EliteChris just says, "Yo, Chase, I got an opportunity for you. You down to play?"
It was a little more formal than that, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course. It was just DMing you like, "Chase, my guy, my homie. Of course,
yeah.
you wanna come on? I got you, man."
Yeah, it was something like that, and so it's like back-to-back weekends were my first two recordeds, which were actually the first. And they were actually the very first two MC Survivors that I count, because I don't count that Mumble one that I had technical glitches with. That's
oh God.
The way I see it, if tech issues don't even allow you to actually play, did you really play?
I mean, your soul was there, but the internet said not today, sir.
Pretty much. Yeah. So
So that was
that
how you
was
got introduced.
that was my introduction.
Introduction to the MC Survivor community. So wait, so for Bora Bora, was there just no interviews? He just invited you. It's just like, yo,
Yeah,
you're cool. Come on.
it was straight up the day before too, so I don't know if he had other people he wanted, and then apparently he was hopping in the that UHD one just for scouting purposes for a different community, and that just so happened to be the one that the only one I attempted.
Oh, okay, I see. So wait, how long was Bora Bora, if you remember?
How long the recording or how long
Yeah,
ago?
yeah, the
Uh,
recording.
it took about 13 hours, I think.
So, did you expect that?
I mean, I kind of knew going into it. It was it was an all day thing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I then again, I didn't expect to go about it the way that I did, which was kind of how I treat myself every time now. I get the full experience by not leaving to even go grab some food out of the fridge or anything. Like I starve
Really?
myself throughout the day.
Dang. So
Yeah,
you
it's
play the real Survivor, but on the computer, you just
unless
starve yourself.
unless I need to stress eat, uh, then
Yeah,
yeah,
when this is like a huge play, you gotta do it. You're in trouble. Nah, the food out
yeah.
of the fridge is coming out.
Which is combined with my other habit when I play. It's which is I wouldn't condone this if you're underage, but I tend to have a few beers throughout the days of recording.
I've heard about this. I have heard about
um,
this. Oh God, I was gonna say if
if
you remember anything from that, I want to say you're like stories about you doing that kind of stuff.
it's yeah, it's actually interesting. It's kind of funny in a way because with MC Survivors, as long as you know your limits and keep it very much controlled, I mean, a little bit of alcohol acts as a performance enhancing drug with a stress related tendencies. So,
Yeah, but if you're underage, don't do it. All right,
oh
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Only
yeah,
if you're of age.
yeah. Close your ears. You didn't hear anything if you're
I'm
under
20.
21.
I'm 23. I can get away with it. It's
Exactly, exactly. But if you're a cheater, that's not good. Okay, there you go. That's your
exactly.
warning. That's your warning to those out there who are below the age of 21. There you go. So, I've seen you a lot in like a lot of recordeds out there. Seen you in. Let's see. Let me go down this list here. EliteChris's,
Yeah,
Echoes,
yeah,
Asher. Sorry.
yes,
Um, a season 9 that I can't really talk about.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Oxy. Anyway, so sorry. He knows. He knows. Okay. What else was there? Yeah, is there another one? Am I missing anything?
Um, I think that's. Oh wait, no. Cavs. I was in Cavs.
Yeah, season 4. Yeah, I do remember. Sorry.
That's
Sorry, Kev.
currently ongoing.
I'm sorry, Kev. Please forgive me for forgetting
I
your
say,
season.
yeah. Didn't you interview that man?
No proof, man. Just don't look at my YouTube channel, all right? All right. All right, Kev, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, we move. Okay. So, you've been in all these recorded seasons, and what I was going to ask before forgetting about Cavs was which one was your favorite to play in?
Oh, this is You see, there's a couple of different. It sounds like a political answer, but there's like a few different ones that I like, and it's just for very different reasons.
Hmm.
Um, as far as like pure fun, I would probably go with Echoes, just because everything was so new, and it was just immersing myself with the experience. See, Chris's was a bit different. I enjoyed my time, but at the same time, if you've seen the season, you could probably figure out why it was not the most fun day for me. I'll leave it at that if you haven't seen it. Let's see. Asher's, I was in that one more. I was playing that one more for me as a just a fun time, not necessarily super stressful. But my all-time favorite, as far as just the way I went about it, was probably Cavs.
Ah,
As
there
far
you
as the
go.
most proud of myself I was after a season.
So shout out to Cav.
Um, yeah, there were definitely moments where trying to word this in a way because we're only so far into the episodes releasing, so I'm trying to stay vague.
Exactly.
Um, I will say that season had a lot of the very, very super highs and exact opposite on the low end, and it was just a roller coaster nonstop for me. So
Hmm. I
I
mean,
don't know.
from what I saw, you look like you were on the low end. Without giving too many spoilers right here, you seemed like you were on the low end, and
Yeah, yeah. What's out more the most? What's actually out is leaning toward the low end of things.
Okay. So you're at the low end now. I mean, is that usually how your games go, or you kind of just wait, what's your game style? Let's just describe your game style right quick, except the drunk part right here.
Okay, the alcohol part aside, my game style, it might sound like a cop out, but I don't really like to go into a game with a particular style because I'm under the full belief that if I do that, I'm guaranteeing myself to not do well in the sense that I become tunnel visioned,
Exactly.
and I like to I like to not necessarily take the first couple rounds off, but just kind of mentally assess what my situation is and adjust accordingly. Because if I'm in a season full of a bunch of people I know, my first thought is panic. Because I can't just go to a go-to thing with them because they know me. Um, and so really I kind of have to just treat every game like a clean slate. And I feel like it's easier for me to do that because I don't play as often. Something a lot of people might not realize about me is like I like playing, but I don't like playing a lot.
Okay.
I can't like go on ever and play one every other weekend. It's
Okay. So you're not the type of recorded junkie.
I need time gaps. I need, like I can get on and help people. Like I helped Liz out with a lot of her non-recorded seasons. I can do that, but as far as playing, I need to prepare myself mentally, physically, because I starve myself. And
Uh,
I just need a lot. I just need time in between them.
okay, so you just need your beauty sleep in between survivors. Okay, I get
Something
that.
like that.
I mean, it's usually the same with me. I mean, I do this clean slate strategy where you just bring yourself and assess everything, and then
Yeah.
if I know someone, I don't panic. It's more like us two fight it out, and either we fuck each other in the ass. Sorry for the language, people. We do that, or somehow, some way, we just get first boot, and it's just I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated thing. I feel like I do worse if I know someone on the cast.
Like that's part of the reason why I liked some of the earlier ones I did, being like Echoes and Chris's, because I was so new to everything that I didn't know anyone. They didn't know me. There may be a name or two that I'd heard of. Like I went into Echoes. I heard of Garrett. I had known of Liz, but I never met them before.
Oh, yeah. I
But
mean, that was
now
the
it,
same with me. Jesus.
but nowadays I can't. It's been over a year and a half that I've been in the community, and it's like I can't play anything without there being someone that I'm already familiar with. Uh, like Cavs, for example. We get into Cavs, and sorry for spoilers, but it was the first episode, and it's been out for like 4 months now. But we get into Cavs, and I get put on a try with Kid Moto, and it's just such a weird vibe because I'm trying to play clean slate, but I can't help feel bad for the guy knowing that I don't have as much power to help him as I may have in the Nile when I knew he was my number one when we swapped and went into a downhill spiral. Where, so it's just that that tug at your heart with with your friends from outside the game that you have to set aside,
Exactly. And it's
and it's
you can go.
and it's like with that example, it's like me and Kid, we're super competitive people. So whatever, I just played an org with the guy recently, and he absolutely destroyed me, and it pissed me off. But at the end of the day, we get it. We're competitive people. It's just game. With friendships, stay friendships outside.
Exactly. Because I mean, if you get pissed off, like I know there's people in the community who get extremely pissed off if they, get voted out. It's just a game. There's no
Yeah,
need to be,
that's something
fighting.
that a lot of people need to take a deep breath and think about. It is just a game at the end of the day. Um,
Mhm.
like even in major, even like big time recordeds, um, like I think I keep bringing up Chris's season just because of how popular they are, but I got to play. At the end of the day, I got to play. I may not have done as well as I would have liked, but I got to have that experience, and that's something I'm grateful for.
I mean, playing in recordeds, it always leaves a memory, no matter even if you get first boot. There's always a memory in there that you played that season. And whether it's good or bad, people. This is for the people watching. Whether it's good or bad, the experience is always there, and that's what matters. You can either
Yeah,
learn from it or you can enjoy it. I mean, that's what I believe in.
yeah, yeah. And it's like to that point. I mean, the first boot we had, Chris K. I've seen him play after the fact. I saw him play about 3 or 4 more times, and he did so well every time. Other than that, and just that's the game. We got to move on, pick ourselves up, and try again somewhere else, and test your luck a little better.
Exactly. So, moving on to the next question. You said you're in production, right? And just helping with unrecorded seasons and all that. So,
Yeah, I did a lot of that. Not currently, because I'm not. I'm about 7 hours away from the computer I would have used.
oh God,
Uh,
you on
yeah, I
vacation or something?
no, I'm interning for 10 months.
Oh, okay. Good luck, sir. oh God. Okay. Well, production side. What do you feel like production could improve on?
Um, I think it's a case by case basis because there's some things that say there's a production team that's really good at making challenges, but they're not very organized. Um, the biggest thing that I've seen from being on a couple different production teams is just how organized are they? How much goes into the planning process? Because what a lot of people don't appreciate as much is the amount of work that goes into the planning phase of a season. Not even a recorded, just for an unrecorded. I mean, there are some that you can just throw something together and be ready in a day, but the quality is going to drop because of that, unless you just copy paste the same recycled stuff from a massive creative world, which is fine if you're just going for sheer quantity. But one thing I really liked about working with Liz is that we would spend about a solid week or two just planning stuff on a Google spreadsheet, and you'd have your casting stuff going on in the background and all the building. Like, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. It's not 2 weeks of nothing but planning. We're building in the background as we go. Like, if we plan to have this challenge idea, someone's probably building it, and going on the background. We had the best system we had was for one of her seasons. It was called Memento Mori. I think this is one of two that I really loved helping work with, and because of the staff we had our role. Everyone knew their role, and was on it for a T, and on it to a T. Liz and me, we'd look at casting. She'd have final say. Obviously, it's her show. Then we'd just do challenge ideas and just build and go through building challenges. And then we had Gumfum at the time. Great builder. I loved that season because all I had to do was make a challenge functional, and then Gum would come in and make it pretty. But if you have a system where everyone knows their role, everyone involved knows their role, and you just keep organized so everyone knows what everyone needs to do, then not only is it the path to success very clear, but you also know who needs to be held accountable if something's not going as it should be.
Okay. I mean, that's very good advice, because I know there's people listening to this who want to, host their own recorded Survivor stuff, or just generally anything with the recorded aspect for Minecraft. So, here's some good advice. Be organized with what you do, with planning, casting. Think of a good theme, which is going to be my next question. So, yeah.
And before you move on, the one other big piece of advice I can give, just from someone who's been on production staffs, is it's okay to not be perfect. I would if you assume that everything is going to go perfectly smooth 100% of the way, whether it's a big time recorded project or just a small unrecorded, throw that out the window. Something is inevitably not going to go how you foresee it, and you just got to roll with the punches. Sometimes it's easy to make it's an easy adjustment to make. Sometimes it's not. And if you do make something, and if you do make a mistake that's not an easy fix, you've just got to own it. And I've had to. I was helping Cav with one of his productions. Ironically, it's the one that was deemed so horrible that it doesn't even count to canon. His little 5.5. And there were I don't know how much he got into it about what happened.
He kind of went into detail, but it was
okay.
Not during the time where it was announced that it was, 5.5.
Okay. Well, now that it's announced 5.5, we basically had the equivalent of 3 quits plus one person who was forcibly removed. And it's his. I'll leave it at that. If he ever wants to talk about it more, he can. But basically, that's something you absolutely never expect, and that's hard to adjust to, and that's a tough pill to swallow, because that's multiple stages of the game that you worked very hard for that you can't use anymore.
I mean, that's just stuff like that does happen. Quits.
Usually it's not that extreme.
Yeah, definitely not.
Usually it's maybe you're doing a non-recorded, and you have this challenge that dispensers. You use dispensers instead of droppers, and they're meant to drop letterheads, but you forget that dispensers register that as something that goes on someone's head, so it doesn't drop it out. And you have to have a production member sitting back there waiting till they hit the button to just destroy the thing manually. I've had to do that because I made that mistake. It happens.
I was gonna ask. This does sound like it's coming from personal experience.
That was one of Liz's seasons where I screwed up, and I owned that. And then I had to do the walk of shame, which was clean up my own mistake day of.
Yeah, in front of everybody. What a nice
In front
gift.
of everyone, while my dear friend Landslide had to help me because was more than one going on at the same time.
We're gonna pause the season because I made a mistake. Okay,
Well,
so
yeah, it happens. It's just gotta
yeah,
swallow your pride and adjust. And if it's on you, fix it.
exactly.
Take
No one's perfect.
responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Yeah, the theme question before my mind forgets about it is I'm gonna put you on the spot right here for a minute. Okay,
Okay.
so if you were a host, think
Okay.
of think of a good theme to use for a season.
A good theme. Um. Oh, this is tough. This is tough because all the ideas I've given were already in consideration for other things. Some used, most of them not. um, oh, this is tough. Like just themes. Oh,
He's got to bring the alcohol for this one.
yeah, I haven't drank in 2 months, but you might make me have a relapse here. uh,
The
I
drunk season.
guess honestly, a theme that I would do just because you don't really see it anymore I would be tempted to do like a throwback season, like an old school throwback. No swaps, no idols, no advantages, and you don't tell them any of it.
That'd be funny, actually. Because
uh,
I mean, the only thing that would counteract that is a pre-game. Jesus Christ! But we don't want to get into that.
yeah,
But I mean,
that's
it's still
that's
funny.
something you try to account for, but you're never going to 100% be able to account for.
Oh yeah, 100%. Unless you see that they join back to back to back. There's some
Like
people out there that do that.
it's so hard to get a full cast of people that have no idea who any of the other castmates are in this community.
I mean, that's why
That is,
people like recordeds more because it's usually such a diverse cast compared to unrecordeds,
yeah,
which I
yeah,
get
and
completely.
as I've seen like the planning processes for both, like in a recorded, it's considered so much more taken into account, so much more than it is in non-recordeds. And non-recordeds, depending on the host, it is accounted for. It is considered, but it's not treated as heavily of a priority in unrecordeds because it's not being recorded. It's not like you're
Yeah,
making a full-on show out of it. You're trying to entertain people and have fun.
exactly. So,
But I've seen great applicants, and I've seen like really good applications and really good interviews not make a cast just because of they had someone we knew they were friends with who was just that much better. And that's the unfortunate fact about it, but it happens.
does, which is, I guess the community has to improve on, which I was going to ask this as well, but it slipped my mind because of the theme question. But let's just say someone new is watching this video, because I know there's some new people out there that have no idea what Survivor is just watching this. And let's say they get, an interview stage thing, okay? So what
Okay.
tips would you give someone that's new to the community? Because I know new people have a disadvantage when it comes to that kind of sort of thing. So what tips would you give to someone doing an interview?
All right. So just the interview.
Yeah, just the interview.
Okay. If you get to the interview stage, the biggest piece of advice I could probably give you is just take a deep breath. Sounds cliche, but you don't want to have the jitters. And just be yourself. Um, the thing that I've noticed a lot between being on both ends of it is that, especially for recorded hosts care so much more about who you are and your personality, and they want to get to know you. The Chris is really big on getting to know you. Like if you've I don't know if you've seen, he put out one of his little podcast things before, like right at the start of going into applications opening for the Nile, that goes into more depth for how he specifically wants, what he specifically is looking for. But from a general perspective, just be yourself. I've seen a lot of people who get to the interview stage and they'll just talk game, 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 game. Uh, but if you've even applied, people understand that, yeah, you play games. Yeah, you watch Survivor. We made that assumption.
No way.
what is
You watch
what is it
Survivor?
what is it that you bring to the table for the camera? Who
Perfect.
are you? Who are you? Not who are you as a player. Who are you as a person? That makes you so much more interesting to hosts.
Yeah, because you get to see their storyline instead of just a game. Sorry, people who are out there like this, a game bot storyline. But seeing a actual storyline, even in like regular shows and all that, it's just so much better.
And I mean, it's a bad like it's just your habits like that. And my, I'll be the first to tell you, my interview for the Nile, I think was a heck of a lot worse than some of the other stuff I've applied to later. And that's just because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
Like I was good enough to be a backup apparently, but apparently I'm guessing a high ranking backup because that was my name that was called a week later. But yeah, it's just they want to know who you are and how you're gonna mesh.
Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah, I get that.
quote unquote game bots don't necessarily make great storytellers.
I mean, they make the good moves, but not great storytellers. That's for sure.
And
I mean,
yeah, I mean
crash
they
or
do
burn
that.
you.
They do that. And I can use myself as an example here. Back when I played like a game bot, um, there's a reason my edit on the Nile wasn't that great, and that's just because I didn't bring a lot of personality to the table on the day of recording.
Mm.
And I have regrets of how I played? No, but I wasn't as appealing for the camera. So you see a guy like Kid Moto who had a very similar pathway as me to until the point where I got voted out. Uh, Steal a lot of the spotlight just because he's a bigger personality, and that's fine. It happens. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is.
I mean, that's true. Um, Let me put you on the spot one more time for this question. Okay,
Okay.
let's say you're the host again. Okay,
All right.
we'll keep this one short. So let's say a 12-person season. Split it up
12
into
person
six
season.
12-person season. Split the cast into six tribes. I mean, not six tribes. Jesus Christ, two tribes of six. So you're the host. Who are the 12 players you would want to cast for your season? It can be anyone in the community.
Oh,
Your sighs of regret every time I do this to you.
Well, there's a difference between who I would want and who I would actually get, because there's people that I love that there's no way I'm putting them on the same cast as some of the others of them. Um, I don't know if I have to name names. That's the tough part, because if I want some okay, so I want a few big personalities on there. If it's a 12-person cast, I'm probably thinking like categories, and I'll probably try to get like 3 of each, and just simple it down to 4. I mean, you can have people that mesh with multiple things and more to the table. But I want a couple big personalities. So at the very least, I know that someone's going to be trying to get attention. So like a Kyle or a Chris Blue.
Okay.
Um, then I want a couple of under the radar but with but are nice, have a personality. People that are going to do, actually, they're not going to sit in a corner and just mumble like that one girl from Pitch Perfect. So someone who brings their personality, but they bring their personality to the table in a different way, kind of like a Liz. You think about it, the way, like, she's a gamer. She is an absolute player in these things.
Oh, I know.
But she does it in a different way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. Then I want a couple people. I want at least a couple people that I have no idea what they're going to bring to the table. But when I say that, I mean they showed me that they want it in an application. Went through an interview, and they're not dumb.
Okay,
They
so 50%.
like, I don't care if I think you're gonna go. If I think, be real with you. I think that when I say dumb, I don't necessarily mean if they're actually smart. I mean that they're not going to be a hindrance to production.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was one season I worked with, and there was this one guy, and he was hilarious in the absolute dumbest ways. He did an interview. And we asked him. We asked everyone this same weird question just to kind of break the ice and see how they react. It was you put them on death row. What's their last meal and why? And this man straight up, no hesitation, says, "I get mac and cheese because I want carbs." And most of us were muted listening in and just busted out laughing, and it was just this listening to the faintest struggle of the people that were actually giving that particular review try to hold it together. And he made it on, and like we had a debate about him, and we all came to the conclusion like this guy is probably going to be a first boot, but he is going to be the most entertaining first boot we have. We're ever going to find. And so we cast him. I'm not saying play dumb. If that's who you are, own it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, my brain has been moved. Now my brain's gotten distracted. I'm supposed to be like putting people on a cast.
I mean, you basically went into detail that you wanted a spectacular first boot in style kind of play.
Oh, if you can find that, great. Seriously, you would think that you want to get all the best players you can, but especially if you're doing a recorded, that's not necessarily the case.
I know this for a fact.
Because if you believe every player is great, then there's only going to be disappointment early on because there are naturally, no matter how good the players are, there are going to be people that struggle because of the situation they're in, and they're probably that might be kind of boring. But if you can have someone really funny for like the first episode or two, then great. I mean, unless they do pull a Corkager and come back and make it to the end after being first boot, then it kind of gets old. Then it kind of gets old after a while. But in the
Yeah.
moment, for the short period of time they're fantastic.
Oh God, Corkay. All right, I don't even want to get into that story with him.
I'll leave it. I'll put it in layman's terms. At least you got a good first episode.
And it was a good first episode, so yeah, the truth speaks.
That's what those people bring to the table.
Okay, so who'd you want? You said Liz, Chris Blue, or who was the other one?
Uh,
Chris Blue and
Kyle.
Kyle, and in a
Even that big
spectacular first
that
boot.
that yeah, you got big personalities, people who bring their personality in a different way, who were good, like in that decent player to decent player that they're talkative in a different way. Don't know how to word that very well.
So you wanted those types of players. Okay, so that's just your whole cast, just have a bunch of Liz's, a bunch of Chris Blues, and a bunch of Kyles, and then one
well,
singular first boot.
well, enough to the point where they're like individualized.
Okay.
Like there are like you could have two people that have big personalities, but what separates them?
Yeah.
Because if I don't want to have two or three people that are nothing but big personality.
I mean, yeah, that's
That
true.
brings you back to the point of be yourself and what makes you unique. Because yeah, I would want a couple big personalities, but I want them to be able to differentiate themselves and have different aspects of themselves that different people can relate to.
That's a fair point. Because you have two big personalities, but they're both kind of game body. Sorry again for this kind of usage. If you're a game bot, no exposure here. All right. Anyway, that wasn't a word. English. Okay. So yeah, basically, personality is a very good thing to have. So if you're new watching this, show your personality bit, show your true self, and good luck will be on your side. The force will be with you. Uh, so, have you seen Survivor 41?
I have been keeping up with that.
All 3 episodes, may I add.
I have seen all 3 episodes. Yes,
Okay.
I
So I
watched them
was
a day late, but
okay.
I watched them.
That's the same with me. Illegal websites.
And
So anyway, yeah. Anyway, so you said you watched Survivor 41. So anyone who's listening to this and hasn't seen it, just skip a bit. Just skip a bit because I got an important question to ask you.
okay.
So I was asked this the last interview that I did unexpectedly. So I thought it was a good question. Is how do you feel about the advantages so far in the season?
I think there's too many of them. Straight up, it's a bunch of cool ideas that I don't think should have been thrown out at the same time. And like what they did in the last episode where they made people sneak out of camp and go make a decision. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think the way they're doing the pre-merge idols, where you have to, in order to activate it, you gotta say the weird phrases. I think that's pretty cool. Now, there's some wording in how the rules of that are that I don't like. Like, I don't like how Xander just can't vote until until all three are activated or merge hits. I think I think I'm not going to take credit for this idea because I think it was JP Tooney that I saw wrote this idea, and I really agreed with him. And if it's not JP, I'm sorry to whoever it actually was, but I think it was JP. And basically, the way it was set up, the way he put it was like maybe if the risk and reward thing, where if just because you found it doesn't mean you lose your vote, but it's not activated. But if you say it, if you say your phrase, and you don't get the other phrases in response, you lose your vote for that tribal.
That's
Like
actually
that
pretty
way,
interesting.
it doesn't just screw one player for several rounds. I mean, they can screw themselves
Yeah.
for several rounds, but that's on them at that point. But it's
Not
like
naming names.
it's the hesitancy of do you say it, do you not, and then you have a few different strategic possibilities. Like you could have go into a situation where merge hits, all three were found, but no one had the guts to say their phrase and risk their vote. That they all could have had an idol, and now they don't. And it's just so many possibilities. But I don't think, like, I think Xander's being straight up screwed by advantage hell.
I agree. I fully agree. I mean, if you want my opinion, is the I mean, I like the three-way idol thing. Don't get me wrong, and when they had to sneak off the island to the other island, that was cool. Don't get me wrong, that was cool. But the rule for the three-way idol, it was funny and awkward to hear Xander say those phrases with the I don't know, I don't remember what it was, something with ancestors or something like that.
I think it's like I think butterflies or dead relatives or something like that.
That, yeah, exactly. But I mean, don't get me wrong, that's comedy. But the rule for it, I agree with you. It's just not it for me. Especially if it's maybe swap. Okay, maybe swap. I can get that, but all the way to merge, that's kind of just screwing with him.
Like, could you imagine playing the season and then just not being able to vote half the
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
not
Okay, imagine.
having no control over your own fate?
I mean, imagine this: you're a new player, and somehow you get into the biggest Minecraft series, EliteChris is. You're so excited and then all of a sudden you go into a chest, get this thing called Beware, open it, boom, you can't vote for half the season. You're in the biggest series online for Survivor Minecraft wise, and you just can't vote. That's it. You're screwed because of that advantage. Like that's I guess that's how to represent what that advantage would be in real life. Because
Yeah.
yeah, but there's one more advantage that we didn't talk about, which was the die
Well, the shot in the dark.
shot
Yeah.
in the dark. Yes, exactly.
See,
At tribal.
that's something else. I think that's cool, but I'm pissed that if you lose your vote, you can't use it.
Wow, I didn't even know that myself.
That's I from what I can't confirm, but from what I've gathered, I believe that's the case because I believe the price to use it is because the price to use it is your vote. You if you're using it, then you're not allowed to vote as a trade-off, and you can only do that once throughout the season up until I think final six. He said it was.
Think so, yeah.
I don't remember entirely, but basically, from what I've gathered, if you don't have a vote to trade for the right to use it, then you can't even use it. So like Xander's ultra screwed.
Hey, my guy Xander, he was my winner pick.
I like
Oh,
Xander. I like him.
I
You
like him
got
too. Oh.
he's such a cool dude. And then you've got JD who's basically if IRL Survivor had a Gonzo.
Oh, damn. Okay. The social guy. I mean, he is. Let's be honest.
No, like I was. I saw Gonzo. He put out his rankings of players like right when the season came out, and he had JD number one. And this is before I watched the episode. This is before I watched the episode, by the way, because I was working a game that night, so I had to wait till the next day to watch it online. And then I get introduced to who JD is. I'm like, yep, I can see why you like this man.
That's true. I mean, off topic for a bit, Gonzo. I'm going to shout you out here. I guess you're scared or something because you still haven't played me back in 8 Ball. You did one move, and you did one singular move, and I did a move, and I sent it to you, and you're not responding. I mean, I guess you just didn't want the smoke, like you said. You said to me specifically, "Do you want the smoke?" I said, "Sure." I brought it. I don't see it brought back. So yeah, there's a little off-topic thing for Gonzo. Yeah, I guess you're scared. Anyways, we move. Okay, so back to Survivor 41. Sorry, Gonzo, but yeah, bring me the smoke. I will beat you. So, Survivor 41. How do you feel about the fast-paced stuff?
It's different. It's kind of like when if you were to compare like an MC Survivor to an org. MC Survivors, as I'm sure you know, are very fast-paced just because they're done in a day. You don't have as much time to think. You have to adjust on the fly. And in the context of the real show, moving up from 39 days to 26 does something just like that. Whereas if you look at it more of the online community, you have an org. I just got done playing an org, and I was in that org for 35 real life days. And that extra time means you build stronger relationships. You think about your strategy and change it a heck of a lot more. And your heart pulls on you more than your brain does at times. And it happens. I'm not super cutthroat once I get to know people, but I mean, like I said, earlier, I'm competitive. But in an MC game, I don't really care to screw someone over. I wouldn't really care as much to screw someone over because I didn't really get to know you very well. It's aside from a few hours. And when you take that comparison, it relates to what's the change of the pace in the real life show. Because when they're at 39 days, they have 3-day cycles where you have your like a reward or something, or if they do that, depending on the day, you'll have a challenge day with tribal, and in every cycle they had one day where they just live. I remember I saw an interview with Jeff Probst where he talked about that one day, and he said, and most of the content for an episode came from that one day where they're just living. And changing the pace, you kind of take away from that. And for gameplay, I think it really makes the gameplay jump up because you don't have as much time to get to know each other. You don't have as much time to think. But to that point, I think we're starting to see the other side of the argument in the show, where the way it affects the show from an entertainment standpoint, because now it's so game focused. It seems like every conversation is about the vote or about about advantages. Every confessional seems to relate to some sort of idol or advantage now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I get it. That's the game. That's the game. Yeah. But the thing that makes characters and these contestants makes it so relatable and makes me want to root for someone is my ability to relate with someone. And if all I know is who they are as a player, not so much who they are as a person, then it's harder for me to do that, and it's harder for me to root for someone. that I don't really understand who they are.
Which is, I agree with that fully because usually previous seasons before 41, they show like, you know, personality wise. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're kind of doing that in
Yeah.
41, but that was at the very beginning, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't like now the episodes, spoilers kind of, not really, I guess, but like now the confessionals are just all about advantages, all about who I
Yeah.
want to vote off. There's none like funny stuff that's
Yeah.
happening. Yeah,
Like
I mean, I get your point.
I remember when I was younger and I was watching Kaguyan and I was just rooting for Spencer because that arrogant nerd, that was me in high school.
Huh.
And I just connected so well with that. But I haven't picked a favorite this season yet, just because I don't have enough information to work with.
I mean, yeah, my favorite, which I can't say, other than Xander, has unfortunately died in the season. Not literally, but voted off.
Practically.
Yeah, practically. I can't say who it is, but I'm guessing you know. Okay, if you don't know, it's the previous one, the one that just got out.
The one that
That
just got, yeah, okay.
yeah, that one.
You
I
see,
was just saying that one.
that I will say that person was just starting to grow on me.
I know exactly with me. He was okay. Oh crap. Well, I said the pronoun, but he started to grow on me as well. It was that was the one vote I was like, damn.
Yeah.
All the other votes, I was like, okay. all lowercase, just okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that happens.
yeah, I mean, with this, not really, to be honest, because all the other seasons, it's like, oh, damn, that happened. And it's only happened to me once this season. Because there's no personality shown. It's all, I mean, I already complained about this earlier, but it's all just gameplay. You'd even complained about this. It's all just gameplay and idols and advantages, and I'm paranoid. Like, it's all just that, and it's no
Yeah.
personality. You made a good point there. So,
Thank you.
going into, you were talking about orgs for a bit. We're gonna switch the topic to orgs because there's a lot of people who don't really like orgs out there from what I've heard. So, org talk. Do you enjoy them first off?
Um, not as much as an MC Survivor, but I like them very occasionally as a change of pace.
Mm,
Um, it's also something like I gotta. I don't like the idea of just joining a random org that I know nothing about
yeah,
because I don't know if you know this, but the org community can be very try-hardy and
I
cutthroat,
do know this. Yes.
and they think they're all big and bad because they just talk over text and play up who they are when they might just be some middle-aged man sitting in front of a computer. Uh, like as far as like strategy and trying to win, I prefer an MC Survivor because I kind of like to hear the BS in someone's voice.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
I
Jeez.
can't do that. This last org I played was probably the most out of the loop I've ever been in any Survivor of any kind I've ever played.
Jesus Christ, bro. I
It
mean, I've been there.
it happens, but it's like really.
I mean,
and
you can go.
and then there was one back in March or April. I played in one hosted by Chase the Magic Ninja,
Right now, actually.
and yeah, I was in his season 2, and I was playing that one, and I played that one just for a bit of fun, and I really didn't care about the result. I wasn't necessarily trying to win. Like I felt like as it went on, I put myself in a position where you know what, maybe I actually could win this thing with the way things have been going. But sure enough, that didn't work out. But I flat out told the guy when I signed up, it's like, hey, I'm really signing up for this to have fun, and I'm going to make fun of you the entire time. If that's what you want, cast me. And then immediately upon getting voted out, it was hilarious because when I first started seeing my name come up, uh, Chase was the other Chase. He was actually busy with something that night. We have this heated rivalry, right? Because we're both Chases from Ohio.
Okay.
So we have this heated rivalry where we just hate each other. Not really, but it's funny. And then his friend Johnny was running tribal that night, and I just remember like, he's not here to run tribal. I could be upset about this, but you know, and I just wrote out, yes, in tribal as things were happening. He's like, if it is me tonight, I'm just glad it's you, Johnny, because Chase doesn't deserve to snuff my torch. He doesn't deserve the right to do that.
He can't do anything with me.
And then in my final words, I confessed to why I was there. Like, it's okay. I really just came here to make fun of the host. And then he confirmed that to the cast. Like, yeah, that was true.
I mean, if you want to get on the cast for an org, I mean, don't be
Well,
my guest. Make fun of
I
them.
knew. Well, I'm not saying don't do that if you don't know the people. I mean, Chase and I were well acquainted
Yeah.
at this point, and because we thought it'd be fun, and we thought it'd be funny, and sure enough, it was.
I mean, it worked. You got on the cast and made fun of him with your dying breath in the season.
But I mean, it's a change of pace. It really is. I've it's there's some people that are less forgiving in orgs than in MCs.
Yeah.
Some things are harder to get over because you haven't been on it for hours of a day. You, in some cases, are there upwards of they're about a month and a half max.
Mm-hmm.
It you make bonds, like you make full on bonds with people that are either going to last beyond the org, or you're going to find out they were lying to you the whole time and never forgive them for it. It's I've had both.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really see anything through text. Like, they could be just. They could have the fucking troll face on the other side of the screen and
I
you
will
have no
say
idea.
you'll never know, and you'll never know the answer to that question until the season's over and the host unlocks confessionals.
Oh my god. I know exactly you're feeling right now because I'm in season 4 of his org, like as of this recording.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
let's just say I signed up for fun, you know? It was going all smooth sailing right now, okay?
yeah,
It's smooth sailing. I'm vibing with everybody. Everyone's my friend. All of a sudden, I find this idol in a safari, okay?
hmm,
So we're building up the story here, okay? So I find the idol, comes emerge. All of a sudden, I tell someone, wow, who would have guessed? The idol is now out there to every single person in this survivor. Who would have thought? So I have the idol, comes merge. They were all telling that they wanted to vote off my number one ally. I was like, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna play the idol. Last second, I'm just like, nah, F you. It's all about me today. So I just played the idol myself and I played it correctly. And I was like, I ain't trying to be the hero of this season, all right? I ain't trying to do the uphill battle, okay? With an org, with an uphill battle, takes so much
yeah,
time and energy because it's such a
yeah,
long term game. So it's just like, I don't want that upon my shoulders. So, but nowadays, I have that upon my shoulder with this org. So after that, it's literally forming sides. It's me on the other side with other people holding a grudge because I idled out their number one, their top dog. Sorry
yeah,
if you're hearing this, Blue. Anyway, so yeah, I idled them out. Next vote, no one has advantages. They all try to vote me off. Doesn't work. Next tribal, do the same thing. Doesn't work. Next tribal just happened yesterday. Tries to vote me off. Doesn't work. I mean, doing long term orgs, if you're fighting an uphill battle, it takes so much time and energy because people are just targeting you. You don't know who's lying to you because it's through text, and yeah, it's not you sign up for fun and it just hits you in the face with a 180 saying no, you actually have to try now. I mean, that's just what orgs do to you. And then now I'm tied with the record of most votes casted against someone. So it's perfect. It's perfect. It's fun.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
making history, man. You're
I'm
making
making.
history.
Yeah, you know what? If I was a game bot, this would be hella fun. But I'm not a game bot. I'm a chill person. So doing this is like, what the hell is going on? I gotta be brutally honest here. Like, I'm not a game bot. I play for fun. I bring myself. So having all these votes like piled against me every single time, I'm like, well, damn. I guess it is what it is. If I'm out, I'm out. But if I'm not, fuck you. There you go. That's my motto there. All right, quote me on that. So, so moving on from my little ordeal there. Sorry, but moving on from that. I'm gonna ask this question. It's pretty important here. What
Okay.
do you feel like the overall Minecraft Survivor community can improve on?
Ooh, that's not to nitpick here,
Oh
or
God.
maybe actually nitpick. What do I think the community as a whole needs to improve on? This is tough because I'm just trying to think. Does this nothing I say is going to apply to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I would say that a vast majority of people just need to take a second of self-reflection, and that's not necessarily because they're doing something bad or anything like that. Um, but what I mean by that is there's some people out there who may be like, "Oh, I do always do terrible. Why am I always terrible? Why does no one like me?"
Yeah.
And at the same end of the spectrum, there's people like, oh, there's people who have massive egos and tend to do well, but maybe one time they didn't, or get really far and they get to the end even and they don't win or something like that. Or maybe there's just some dispute over something petty that doesn't really matter between people. But it's whatever it is, it's just people it people need to take a moment of and just reflect on oneself and think, okay, what's the root of the problem? What could what could have gone better for what could they have done better? More importantly, what could I have done better? Or maybe there isn't anything I could have done better. And if that's the case, well, that's life. We got to move on. Step one is taken care of. You've discovered the issue, and the issue was that there was nothing that could be. And sometimes the issues there's nothing that can be done. That's how it is. And if that's the case, be proud of what you did, I guess. But there's no point sulking over a lot of things. You can't change the past. Sometimes you can't change what's inevitably coming. But it's just a matter of understanding how can I be the best self I can be and move forward.
Yeah.
We're always moving forward, and there's a large percentage of people that struggle with that. And it's okay to take different speeds going forward, whatever you're comfortable with. But we can't stay in the exact same place. Otherwise, nothing's ever going to change, for better or for worse.
Yeah. I mean, that's some good insight on that. I mean, my advice for a bit here is don't hold grudges. I think we said this earlier, I believe.
That's a
It's
good
just a
thing
game.
to remember.
Yeah, it's just a game. Don't hold grudges against people if they did a move on you or if they're arguing with you. Like, just either brush it off or forgive them, talk to them about it. You don't gotta hold grudges against people because it's Survivor. It's not fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with $1 million on the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't hold
But
grudges and also move on.
Like it's okay to be angry in the moment. Like I'm a
Yeah.
very competitive person. I've gotten very pissed off at things before.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I got to move on with my life. It's I'm not my life is not judged by how well I do at a Minecraft Survivor. I've still got to get up and go to work tomorrow. It's
Exactly. Oh man.
life goes on.
Exactly. So there's the life lesson for today. Move on.
Yeah.
You don't gotta even use this for Minecraft Survivor. Use this for real life in the real world. Move on.
You can take some time to gather yourself, but at some point you got to move on.
Exactly. So, wrapping up this interview, this is what I do to everybody except Pepit because he was
Okay.
the beta. Okay, so that's not a sentence you would usually hear in this community, but yeah.
I mean, you're
So
not wrong.
yeah, okay, yeah. So what I do to wrap up is I ask you two final questions, and then after those final questions, I give you the time. I'm gonna shut the hell up, and I'm gonna give you the time to say anything you want. It can be shout outs, it can be any final thoughts you want, or things that I didn't ask but you want to say. It's all up to you, man. That's your time. So going into the final two questions is first one is how do you feel about the MC community as of right now?
um, as of right now, I think it's actually in a pretty good place. It's gonna have its ups and downs, depending on what's going on. There's always going to be your sparks of interest and your relatively chill times of the year. But I like that it's always changing, and that's what makes it great, in my opinion, because it's not the same people every time. I mean, there's people that do game shows every weekend and see the same people, and if that's what you're into, then great. There's a place for you. But there's also a place for people like me that don't like to do it very often, but when we do, we just get in and have a good time, and I'll generally see a lot of new people because I haven't done anything in a while. Um, so I think that it's in a good place where there's generally a part of the community for whatever it is you're into, whatever it is your in particular interests are. Like niche communities within a niche community, so to speak. Um, there are things that could probably be worked on an individual basis, whether it be uh, maybe working on one's organization here and there for the hosting side of things, or like I said, maybe taking a moment to self-reflect for players, or even just changing things up for the sake of changing things up. But I like where it's at, and I like the progression it's taking, so to speak.
Huh. Very, you know, lighthearted outtake on that. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that for sure. So, last question. Congratulations, you're almost at the end. I know I'm such a bore to you. So, so here you go. Last question is: what are your future plans with the MC Survivor community?
Um. Okay. Well, for the foreseeable future, nothing really on my end. Like I said, I think I mentioned this at one point that I was interning for 10 months. I'm actually not able to partake in the MC Survivor community for a while. I'll be home in December, and there is something I'm in the works for in December. I'm gonna leave it at that for my short period at home for the holidays, but I won't be I probably won't be like active in game wise. Like I'll be around. I'll be in Discords and whatnot, hanging out and have a good time, and I enjoy that a lot. Just talking to people for here and there. But yeah, there's not a lot I can really plan for myself until May.
Jesus.
But as far as me personally, one thing you won't really see from me, but I may be more involved in is just helping out with a few of my friends that run things, just bouncing ideas off them. I still like helping with organization. I may make some Google Sheets to help people stay organized. I know my buddy Cav appreciates the contributions I've made to his organizational systems since I went from player to helper. Uh, um, but yeah, that's not a very in-depth answer because I can't really provide one due to my current work situation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, who knows? In the future, we'll see you in May.
I mean,
Oh God.
I still provide post production stuff for
Yeah.
Cav. I send him like we record voice, kind of like what we're doing right now, and then he has someone else just put on my skin because I never change it, and it works.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. I mean, I like post production stuff too, to be honest, because I don't know what it is with me, but post production confessionals they just hit different. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I've gotten thrown into that because I remember he mentioned it on his when I was listening to his interview you did with him of how our pre-merge up until this point for the tribe I was on had to be almost entirely post-production
That takes a lot of work.
because they had one person who stopped being able to record and they had another one whose footage got uh was terrible. Yeah,
Yikes.
it was like super shit. Like it ended up for whatever reason the visual quality wasn't too great, but the worst part was it wasn't the visual. It wasn't the visual. It was the audio. His audio got messed up for some reason.
Mm.
But
Ah,
it happens. It
it
happens.
does happen, but I mean that's just bad luck, man.
Yeah, the struggle isn't necessarily getting post production with stuff like that. It's trying to prevent revisionist history.
Yeah, and
Um,
internet.
yeah,
And internet. You know, you gotta blame somewhat on internet.
yeah, it happens.
So, very last thing. This is the part where I won't be annoying right now and shut the hell up, and you get to talk. Shout out anything, do any topics you want to talk about that we never discussed. It's all on you. So
Yeah.
once I'll shut up until you stop talking, or it becomes super awkward where you stop talking. And I'll be like, I get the butt in, ha ha ha. So yeah, this
Okay.
time is on you. You can go in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So first of all, I just want to thank you again for having me. Really appreciate being here. And what I really like to just take a moment to talk about is just go into why you probably won't see me at a game show for quite a while, aside from things that are premiering online. As I've hinted at it a couple times in this interview, so I call it a job. And I went from Ohio to South Carolina, where I'm spending 10 months of my life. Um, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I'm no longer the tennis coach I've had labeled in front of my little characters throughout anything you may have seen me in. Um, now what I do is I actually write a bunch of press releases for all sports. I work for a university, and I just cover their athletic programs, and it's a lot of fun for someone who's really into sports like me to just get to do just cover the sports and write recaps, except for when we lose horribly, but you still got to cover it like because journalism. But a word of advice: if you find something that you love doing and you can get paid for it, by all means do it. I mean, no one wants to sit sit in front of sit at a desk for hours of their day, doing something they hate to do. And it's okay to accept that. It's okay to acknowledge that, hey, I don't like this path that I'm on. I need to change that path. I was planning on doing something completely different when I got to college, like, Jesus, 6 years ago? Uh, 5.5, 6 years ago. I was going into something completely different, and I got 2 years into that. 2 years of my life before I realized that I was going to hate my life if I stayed on this path. So I changed majors and took a chance on myself, and I think it's paying off. It really is. It's just nice to be able to do something that you love to do, and to be able to call it a career path. It's not always going to be easy to follow your passions, but if you're willing to put in the work for it, you are guaranteed it's going to have a great result. Beyond that, just a shout out to my boy Cav, who I saw his interview, and then I was like, "Yep, I gotta talk to Happy about getting on one of these, so I can show my guy up." Shout out to Gonzo, because we mentioned him. Kid, anyone else that I mentioned by name in this interview, because you all clearly played a piece to my story. And thanks again to Happy for having me, and I'm not going to ramble anymore.
So this is my time to cut in like the snake I am. Anyway, so yeah.
I don't know if you picked up that I was trying to get you to do that toward the...
No way.
Yeah, totally wasn't planned.
It totally wasn't planned. Guys, if you didn't guess so far, this is not scripted. Wow. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna wrap things up here. It was very fun having you on, Chase, giving your insight about everything and your internship. So yeah, it's very nice having you on. For people who do want to come on, just DM me. I'm a bit busy now, so just pester me with DMs because people do that, and I kind of accidentally ghost them. I know I'm such a bad person, uh, but yeah, just keep DMing me. Luckily, I found Chase because I went back through all my DMs and found out that I ghosted him on accident. So yeah, that's on me. So yeah, if you want to do that, I did that to so many people, Chase. Just
I, I just thought I was in a long waiting list.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Oh yeah, that's the story we'll
Yeah,
tell them.
Yeah,
Hours
that's the
editing.
story we'll tell people. All right. Yeah, there's such a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people who want on, but it's just like I'm so bad at responding. I'm so bad. Okay, so yeah, if you want on, just pester me. I know there's people who even text me to get on, and I still ignore. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Chase. It was very fun. Thank you for your insight and just this conversation we had. It's probably over an hour and like 20 minutes. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.